Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you doing? Hopefully you're doing well. I know I am. So if you guys have been following the updates of things that I've been up to recently, you would know that I am a married man now, and now my life is over. It's done. It's there's abandon all hope and all that Dante's Inferno jargon.
Supreme victory!
So I got a few spicy tweets for you. Not gonna delay anymore. We're gonna jump right into these bad boys because, yeah, I definitely like the ones that I've curated. I feel like if you find this attractive, you're pretty much gay, but you don't want the stigma that goes with it. I love this tweet. I love this because this person, you know, with the anime avatar, this weeb that probably beats off to cartoons. Basically, the implication is if you like muscles, that means you're gay. It's as simple as that. If you like defined muscles, you like men. Where here I am thinking that if you like men, you like penis. You like a dude with a nice jaw, a little bit of hair, something like that. You know, there's a lot of men that don't have that type of stuff, but most of all, you're a big fan of the penis. That's usually like the big implication. You know, the same sex kind of deal. And so it never occurred to me growing up that a woman who has some muscle is just a man now. Like it's like it's the same thing. You know, like there's the women that are in the bodybuilding competitions that are obviously juiced to the gills, that are starting to develop manly features, and then you're like, okay. But then you have a woman that clearly looks like a woman, that has very feminine features. You can still see that, oh, that is clearly a woman. And then she happens to be jacked. And I'm just like, that's dope. You know, I grew up with admiring fitness in the fitness industry, and say a lot of video games where a lot of women are jacked, especially Mortal Kombat. If you guys played the reboot Mortal Kombat 9, and you see the women in there, they're like jacked, and then they have these cannons. It's hilarious. It's hilarious how they're built, because they're just jacked, and all their chests are all like triple D's, or you want to, I guess, graduate to a new letter. But let's talk about the person in question. This is Lean Beef Patty. I've been following her for a while. She's exploded on TikTok. She obviously works very hard. She's very proud of her physique, and she should be, because she put in the work, put in the hours.
And take what's ours. I want to drain the main vein.
And sure, there may be people who don't like her physique. There may be people that are like, that's too much for me. That's totally fine, but I'm pretty sure most people don't jump to the conclusion that, like, the only people that like that are just, they like dudes, but they're just afraid to like dudes. So this is the next best thing. I'm like, why don't they? So of course a bunch of people were trashing this person, and they continued to, you know, to bitch. You guys are complete brainlets if you think she's natty. She's more jacked than 90% of dudes. Now here's the thing. A lot of people get very confused about natty versus someone who uses performance-enhancing drugs. The thing is, there's a possibility that Lean Beef Patty is not natty, but also her physique is naturally obtainable. See, that's the thing. She could be using performance-enhancing drugs to help her get to that easier and to help her maintain it easier. Totally possible. But it's also possible for her to just work her ass off and get there. There's nothing about her physique that is just impossible to achieve, or it's like, that's crazy, I can't believe. It's totally possible, because she's not insanely jacked. The biggest things on her that are jacked are the things that are naturally able to get jacked easily. Like your quads. A lot of women have big legs, right? The biggest telltale is when you see a really huge torso, you're like, okay, a lot of women don't have naturally huge torsos, so it's weird to see that. But like, say, the arms, you can get the delts. Like, you look at her delts, they're nicely built. Her biceps are built up really nicely. And then she has these huge quads. Nothing like that looks unnatural. It just looks like she eats a lot, and she works out really hard. It's totally natural to obtain that. No, I'm saying, is she? I don't know. I don't know enough about her to see if she's natty or not. I don't even know if she's claimed natty or not. I don't care. It's not like, say, if you look at someone like Dana Lynn Bailey, who you're like, she's clearly unnatural. There's things about her that are just too much. We're like, okay, she claims she's natty, but you're like, no. No, like, stop lying. I hate the people that lie.
You're a liar. You're a liar.
Here's a woman named Rora. She says, I lost 80 pounds over the last 2 years by completely changing the way I take care of myself mentally and physically. I may have lost weight, but I've gained health, peace, discipline, and self-love. Now, you look at that transformation, that is very admirable, right? Like, she wasn't even like huge. She wasn't like a monster, you know? She wasn't like Tess Holiday or anything. She was like a little thick, right? But then she killed it, and now she looks like a model. Like, her body is like pretty insane. And it's just like, great job. That's amazing. That's really cool to see that. Now, this is also Twitter trash, right? So the reason why I'm bringing this up is what a handful of people had to say about this. I'll just focus on one specifically. Another victim of fat phobia. Sad emoji. Now, here's the weird thing. There are some people that seem to be joking like this, and this one's hard to tell. I'm like, it's so absurd. I'm like, are they joking? But we've seen this. We've seen people say that promoting weight loss culture is fat phobia. And so to see stuff like this, I'm like, man, I really want them to be joking, but I don't think they are. Because it's just weird that we've gotten to that spot, right? Somebody just kills it. They look fantastic. They put in the work, put in the hours.
And take what's ours. I want to drain the main vein.
But I guess the weirdest thing about it is trying to take away from that person's achievements, their accomplishments, their happiness. You see someone is clearly in a good mood, and then you try to quote tweet their thing and trash them. I think that's the weirdest thing of all. No matter what the subject is, you see somebody is happy, accomplished, milestone. I did something. I changed. I'm a better person. And they're like, no. All right, now we got to talk about this weird phenomenon that's happening right now, where there's all these trans investigators. There's all these people that are seeing, you know, like, say when you see Crazy People. I don't know if you've seen A Beautiful Mind, or maybe even The Number 23. I didn't even see that movie, but I'm assuming it's in the same line, where they just keep seeing numbers. These people are crazy, and they're just seeing stuff that's not actually there. Well, it seems like people are doing that with trans people. They're trying to, they think everyone's trans. I've been seeing an increasing number of this stuff, of people just like observing people in public and then thinking, oh, they're trans men or trans women. Everywhere I go, I see women with no butts, big shoulders, and brow ridges. Men's with big butts, sloping shoulders, and pretty eyes. Real men and women seem scarce. And then you just look at the picture. It's it's just two regular people with some sort of frames in their body. It's like these people have never actually looked at people before and noticed that people have varying bodies. They have, what is that, like, people, I forget what it's called. I always forget what it's called, but people have different body types, right? Body types are different, you know, facial structures, all this stuff. It's so different, right? And these people never paid attention to people because they're just inside all the time, just not doing anything. And now, because of this one particular subject, when they're learning, or at least observing, like, trans stuff, and by default becoming somewhat transphobic, now they're just seeing like, oh my god, this guy doesn't look like Giga Chad, and this person doesn't look like I don't know, Megan Fox or something, whatever. So then they must be a man, and that must be a woman. It's like, dude, chill out. Check out this crazy person. Kate is a real woman. She has to let you know she's a real woman. So it says right, me on the right, and a friend at uni. Can you see the differences in our faces? Forehead slopes inwards, wide set eyes, high cheekbones, narrow top lip, thicker neck. It's subtle, but I can really see that's a man on the left now. Now, I didn't censor the photo. Somebody else did, so you can't see who it is. But I imagine it's just a regular pretty girl and has different bone structure. And then this crazy person's like, oh my God, I didn't know this entire time. This was a man. She continues. 2 girls, with the quotes, I was at uni with, straight broad shoulders on the left and 1 look at the neck on the right one. They are everywhere. Check your friends. Check your children's friends. This person think like this is a real thing. This is you're seeing it all over the internet, and it's just like a new adopted form of like the skit. It's like the numbers thing that I said. People seeing numbers and patterns everywhere. They think there's all these meanings. They're just doing it with people now. They discovered what transgenderism is, and now they're like, oh my God, everyone. It's everyone. I think we need to, I don't know, bring back the straight jackets, kind of put these people away a little bit, get them a little sorted out. Maybe bring back some some lobotomies. Obviously I'm fucking joking. Now this last one I want to focus on is, this is something that, because the New York Post does do a lot of high, top tier clickbait. And what I mean by top tier, it's like the worst clickbait. They have a lot of terrible things. I could show you a bunch of examples, but this is one clickbait that I felt that was okay. I understood the reason why they did it, but a lot of people were furious about it and accused them of extreme racism. Laid off factory worker unseats Charli D'Amelio as top TikTok star with 142.8 million fans. So I guess a lot of people read this and they were offended that, oh, this guy's just a laid off factory worker? Like, what are you trying to imply? Like, what is this? Why are you not putting respect on this dude's name? And to watch, to prove that, look at the ultimate ratio under the reply. It shows the person had the hard R in their head, right? They had that, but then what came out is laid off factory worker, which in my opinion says much more about the person that posted this. Because the guy literally was a laid off factory worker and then rose up to become an insanely famous TikTok star. So in the headline itself, wouldn't it make sense to put that? Wouldn't it make sense to, that's the thing that's gonna get you to click on it. Wait, a guy that used to work at a factory that got laid off is now a TikTok star? Because that was a point of his story. Now, New York Post even changed it and they apologized, but I feel like they shouldn't have, because that's literally, it's like, do you guys remember when that Burger King employee, I think he had 27 years or something. It was a couple of decades of perfect attendance, and he just got this package of candy and shit, in a tumbler, I think. He got barely anything. People were really upset, and then they GoFundMe gave him a ton of money. Now, I assure you that most headlines said something like, perfect attendance Burger King worker. They didn't say his name or whatever, because that's not a part of the fucking story, right? You want to grab people with the thing that is the shocking thing. And it just seems like the New York Post did that. I think this is one of the examples of the overreaching, where people were trying to say, oh, you wouldn't have done this if it was a white guy. Why wouldn't they? If a white guy got laid off from a factory and became the biggest TikToker, wouldn't you put the same headline? So I'm people were kind of inserting racism on this thing where it had no business being. And then the New York Post had to apologize. They're like, oh shit. I feel like the people at the New York Post probably were like, what the I didn't do anything. But they had to apologize anyway. So it's kind of insane. It was kind of insane, the little thing. I just wanted to point this out because this is when I feel like the overreaching has gone too far. There's real issues to focus on, and then people, I guess because it's easy, they latch on to stuff like this. and they feel like we won one. This is a victory for justice. This is a victory for black people. I don't know, man. That was so stupid. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it for this episode of Twitter Trash. Thank you guys so much for watching this, and I want to give a big shout out to my hard R patrons and my hardest of our patrons, Hugger Jared, the movie theater manager, Ashley M, and Jacob S. Thank you guys so much for holding it down. I appreciate you. You're the very bestest, and I love y'all, truly. But yeah, if you guys want to be a patron, if you guys want to support this, you guys can hit up my Patreon. It's in the link in the description. Everything's in the description. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.